Easter was a few weeks ago, and I decided to go to church. What I didn't expect was to go to church 2 days back to back. Hello everyone, Rank here, our alias, and today I should talk to you about the longest church service I've ever been in. So, I'm Roman Catholic, the based religion, and church services are usually from 45 minutes to an hour. It's usually two readings, the psalm, some prayers, peace, communion, and final lectures. Depending on how inspired the priest feels, that's usually how long the church service is. Easter church is longer by default because it's a special church service. It's like an hour to an hour and a half. Why? Because there's more reading for the Bibles to be done. There's also the fire and candle ceremony. You've probably seen these candles at your grandma's house. Those are the candles they usually bring to Easter to get blessed. And church started at around 9 p.m. Easter churches are usually late on a Saturday. And I thought to myself, I'll be home 10:30, 11, tops, you know? Even though I have a bachelor's degree on computer science, I miscalculated the hell out of that. So I arrive at church, place is packed to the brim. You could swear it was a concert for a famous local band. Luckily, I find a seat that I see is available, and the reason why it's available was because it didn't have kneeling pads. You know, the things that in church that you pull down so you can kneel for the kneeling prayers. So I would have to kneel on the floor, which, whatever, I'll thug it out. At least I have a seat. So the priest does the blessing of the fire outside because, you don't want to play with fire inside the church. And I decide not to go because, one, I forgot to bring a candle. Luckily, the church was good enough to give me a candle, but, I didn't want to give up my seat either. That was the second reason. Then we all lit the candles. The priest blessed them, did the candle ceremony. And church service starts and the reading starts. Then another reading. Then another reading. Then another, and another, and another, and another, and another. There were a total of like 8 readings. From creation all the way to resurrection. We ran the Bible that church service. But hey, I knew what I signed up for Easter church. The priest is gonna go all out. Then the psalm is read. I look at my clock. It's 10 p.m. I'm like, hell yeah, I only got like 30 minutes left of church. And then, out of nowhere, the priest announces, we're also gonna celebrate these baptisms. I look to my left, and there's a whole like section of the church of people with like suits and stuff. And when I saw them when I walk in, and I thought, oh, they just want to look fancy for church. Because, that's what people do. I didn't. I showed up with a Linkin Park shirt and jeans. And yeah, they were there to do ceremonies. And the first one was baptism. And I was like, oh, okay. And they were all adults, which, if you don't know, Catholics get baptized as kids. As, babies when you're like within like 3 years. And so I guess, they were turned into, or maybe they just delayed it until now. For whatever reason what there was to delay the baptism, it doesn't matter. It was cool to see, grown-ups do, or older people, older kids and like young adults do baptism. Then some time passes and then the priest announces. The priest says, it's now time to bless for the first communion. Which first communion is another whole like ceremony that takes, some time. And you light a candle and stuff like that. And I was like, what's next? Confirmation? It was. There was another group of those nicely dressed people doing confirmation. If you don't know your Catholic terms, these are the ceremonies you have to go through. You go through baptism, first communion, confirmation, then marriage, and some other stuff later in life. But they're all usually their own church service. I didn't know you could do these ceremonies on Easter church. So, after all the ceremonies go, I'm like, what's next? A wedding. Out of nowhere, two people start walking down the. Nah, I'm just fucking with you. Luckily, there wasn't a wedding, which is nice, because weddings are long as hell. Church service for a wedding is like 2 hours. It is insanely long. So then, all the ceremonies are done, and church service continues as normal. And I decided to like look around, because I was bored. And I noticed the church got like half empty. Half of the people just left. And church service has gone on too long when the old people at church start leaving. It was wild to see. People were leaving, people were sleeping. There was a lot of space. You could tell by the look of people's faces be like, just get it over with, I look at my watch and it was 12:30 a.m. Church service started on Saturday night and it pushed through Sunday morning. The final blessings happening and the priest jokes like, oh, this also counts for your Sunday church service, don't worry. And everybody laughs, have a good old hearty belly laugh. We all leave church. I look at my watch, 1 a.m. Never in my life have I ever been in a church service that long. 4 hours is now the record to beat. This was something else, and I just wanted to tell you all about it. Well, this has been Ren, or Alias. Bye bye.